Welcome to Things You Didn't Know You Didn't Know, a series of short films for those people just starting out learning guitar and bass guitar. This episode is an introduction to the instrument itself and the things to be aware of when buying your first guitar. There are a variety of different guitars and basses, and they all have subtle differences, but they all have the following in common. First, there's the headstock and the tuning pegs, and if you have an electric guitar, these are the much more industrial sounding machine heads. Then there's the nut over which the strings run. They run down the neck, the front of which is the fingerboard, in which is embedded the metal strips that are called frets. The strings run from the machine heads or tuning pegs down the full length of the neck to the bridge, which is fixed in the body of the guitar. If the body of the guitar is hollow, it's usually an acoustic or a classical, and it's self-amplifying, and the sound actually comes out of the sound hole. So here are some tips you need to know. Playing guitar and bass is pretty tricky, and there's a lot to think about. Some things that can be easily adjusted can make things more difficult than they need to be. So let's take a look at these. Firstly, make sure you have the right size guitar. I first tried to learn on a full-size guitar when I was 9 years old, and I didn't even realise there were different sizes. Clearly a schoolboy error. At the time, I concluded I simply couldn't play this, and didn't try again for 4 or 5 years. Too small can be just as problematic. So take your time, get the right size. Strings also vary in thickness, and this is called the gauge of the string. You might need what we call a lighter gauge of string if you're finding it very difficult to hold the notes down on the fingerboard. Old strings too can make a real difference to how easy a guitar is to play, so maybe try a newer set of lighter ones. As you learn and gain experience, you'll find your favourite type. But for now, experiment a bit. Finally, the height of the string above the fingerboard is crucial. If it's too low, the string won't clear the frets and you'll either get no note or the dreaded fret buzz. If it's too high, the strings will be too hard to press down. I've often found that new guitars come with the action far too high to avoid the dreaded fret buzz. But it's really easy for someone who knows what they're doing to change the strings and the action if that's what you need. This is called a setup. What you need to know is there's nothing unusual about this at all, and all guitars need a setup once in a while just as part of their maintenance. People often ask me, what guitar should I buy? And it's a bit tricky for me to answer that question if I don't know what it is that you want from your guitar playing. But here's a general answer I think might help. Buy the one that makes you want to play.